Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is April 26th, and this is episode 16 of the podcast. It is a special Thursday edition. I am breaking down the WWE greatest Royal Rumble of all time, ever, whatever have you. Whatever the title is, I'm about to break it down right now. I'm also going to get into some too furious topics of the day, and also going to get a couple of house cleaning things out of the way before I get into that. I also have a lot of other topics that I want to save. I'll talk about later. Braun, WWE thinking about making Braun the top man. Stay tuned to my YouTube channel for that. Pentagon, Impact Wrestling tapings tonight. The show tonight, I'm going to talk about something from that coming tomorrow, so stay tuned from that. But let's get into the too fast, too furious topics of the day. Now, first, before I do that, I'd like to say that I am on Castbox. Yes, I am on Castbox. I've uploaded my recent episodes, all of my episodes, to Castbox. So if you want to listen to the podcast on Castbox, I will have the link listed on the YouTube channel and on a tweet that I sent out for this podcast. So now, let's get into the too fast, too furious topics of the day. I'm going to put a minute and 30 seconds on the clock. First up, we're talking about Triple H's comments on the women not being able to participate in the Saudi Arabia Royal Rumble. So, he said that Royal Rumble event, he said that I understand that people are questioning it, but you have to understand that every culture is different. And just because you don't agree with a certain aspect of it, it doesn't mean it's not a relevant culture. You can't dictate to a country or a religion about how they handle things, but having said that, WWE is at the forefront of a women's evolution in the world, and what you can't do is affect change anywhere by staying away from it. He also said that they are working with Saudi Arabia to have the women on the card in future years. Now, we're going to start the clock right here. Look, I understand that Triple H has to say what he has to say. He's the next guy in line next to Vince McMahon, so he has to get in front of these things. But this is BS. Because, look, I like what he said at the end. They're working with Saudi Arabia to get the women on the card in future years to try to start some change. But look, you can't be at the forefront of a women's revolution. They've put the women out there loud and clear. This is a women's revolution. Everywhere we turn around, we're seeing the women's revolution, which I think is fantastic. It's the best the women have ever been treated in WWE. You can't have that and then have this huge WrestleMania type event and not have the women there as well. It just doesn't sit right with me. Now, I've seen some people say that, New Japan doesn't have a women's division and what have you. And I think those are two completely different things. Like, I'm not down with New Japan not having a women's division as well. So I'm not down with this either. I'm really not down with this. You go into a country where they suppress women, and you go into a country where some of your biggest names can't even compete. So I'm not down with this. I mean, I'm going to watch the event. I'm going to have some fun. But I'm the type of person to where I think that the women should have a say in this. So at the least, this should have been an special event. You didn't have to you didn't have to push it as the next WrestleMania. For goodness sakes, WrestleMania 34 and a half. And then they could have put on this type of event at another country to where the women could participate. So moving on, we're gonna slide to WWE.com. So I'm strolling through my Twitter timeline, and I see that WWE.com has put a story up that was talking about controversial decisions that Paige could make as SmackDown general manager. And so it was a hypothetical piece. And so one of the first things they put up is WWE Women's Tag Team Championships and how that would be a nice idea. So I'm about to get into this right now. So as for my opinion on WWE having Women's Tag Team Championships, there's also been many more rumors swirling around that it could come at SummerSlam. But my opinion is that I would not like to see Women's Tag Team Championships, not because I don't believe the women are talented enough to do it. I just do not trust the WWE booking a Women's Championship feud and a Tag Team Championship feud with number one contenders on both sides. I just cannot see that going down well. Like, for instance, not that the booking did it bad, but going back to TNA, they had Women's Tag Team Championships. It was awesome at first, but eventually what started to happen is that they didn't have the roster deep enough, and both rosters started to eat away at each other. You had however many women going for the Tag Team Championships and however many women going for the world title. So the roster was already thin, so you only had like a couple of feuds going, and it wasn't really a lot of variety going back to back. And I see that happening with WWE, and I just really do not see them putting these tag titles at the forefront like they should be if this were to go down. Eventually they will fall to the wayside, and the only thing that will be important is the feuds that will be going on for the world title. So moving on, another thing I was scrolling through on my Twitter at the time, and Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler, they had their segment, and Drew McIntyre grabbed the mic, and he does what Drew McIntyre does for quite some time now, especially in TNA. He went off, had the best promo of the night. It was the best segment of the night, in my opinion. And they debuted by beating down Titus Worldwide, and like right as they did it, people went to, oh man, that's the next Shawn Michaels and Diesel. And man, I'm about to just start the clock right here. That is just hilarious. You guys killed me. But I understand why you would say that. I understand when you look at them and you say, okay, that's the next Shawn Michaels and Diesel. But the only comparison between Shawn Michaels and Diesel and Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre is that Dolph Ziggler can do a super kick and Drew McIntyre is very tall. That is it. Drew McIntyre is 10 times more talented than Diesel ever was. Diesel, look, Kevin Nash did a very good job. He made a name for himself in WWE. He did a fantastic job as Diesel. Don't get me wrong, but Drew McIntyre is just wrestling wise, just on a whole nother level. And Dolph Ziggler, no. I know you're not trying to compare him to Shawn Michaels or say that he's Shawn Michaels in the ring, but I don't even think we could even make the comparison of the group that was Shawn Michaels and Diesel to Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler, because it just does not make any sense whatsoever. Other than that, he's tall and Drew can do a super kick. I don't even see the personality out of Dolph Ziggler that would correlate to Shawn Michaels. It just does not work whatsoever. So I would really not like to see that comparison go down my timeline again, but it's a free country. Everybody can make comparisons. We all do. I understand where you're coming from, but I just do not see it whatsoever. So now it's that time. We are going to get into the breakdown of the WWE Greatest Royal Rumble event. So, when I think about this, you think, what am I doing with my life? I'm about to sit down. The pre-show starts here at 10 o'clock. I'm about to sit down for 6 hours and watch the WWE Greatest Royal Rumble, starting at 10 o'clock. Start your day with the WWE. That's the way they're marketing it now. And goodness, 6-hour event. Look, personally, I'm calling it WrestleMania 34 1.5. That's basically what they're pushing it like. They're pushing it just as much, if not more, than WrestleMania in the Raws and SmackDowns. And the crazy thing is, match-wise, it may end up being better than WrestleMania. That's the crazy thing. But action-wise, I should say. So let's get right on into this. I'm not going to waste any more time. Cruiserweight Championship on the line. Cedric Alexander versus Kalisto. There are a lot of people that are saying that they would rather have somebody else that is more deserving than Kalisto. They'd rather have somebody else in there. I can pretty much agree with that. But Kalisto won the gauntlet match to earn the title shot against Cedric Alexander. And I expect a good match here if they give it time. I don't know if this is going to be on the kickoff show. I don't even have to say I don't know if. I'm pretty sure this is going to be on the kickoff show. That is how they treat the cruiserweights. But in the end, I expect a good match, and your winner will be Cedric Alexander. They just put the title on him, so why take it off now against Kalisto of all people? Cedric Alexander will win this match. Also, moving on, we have the WWE Raw Tag Team Championships on the line. The vacated Raw Tag Team Championships on the line. The Bar versus Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt. Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt won the tag team eliminated to earn their way into this title shot. And the Bar are just getting their rematches. They're invoking their rematch clause from WrestleMania 34 when they lost to Nicholas. So looking at this match, I expect a really good match. The Bar can work with pretty much anybody. And Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt is good enough to move around the ring really well. So I expect a really good, well, I'm not going to say really good. I expect a good match to come out of this. Here's the problem, though, with this WWE Superstar shakeup. You look down this card and you say, well, man, shouldn't they have done the shakeup after this Greatest Royal Rumble or after Backlash? It makes everything kind of predictable. So looking at the shakeup, the Bar and Sheamus are on SmackDown, and even before they went to SmackDown, I said that WWE needed to put the titles on Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy, or else why are they here? So looking at those two things, my winner is Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy. The Broken Duo, or the Woken Duo, will win the WWE Raw Tag Team Championships. So moving on, we have the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Championships. It will be the Bludgeon Brothers versus the Usos. The Usos earn their way into this title match by defeating the New Day in a rematch. So we have this going here, and this build-up has been pretty strange. I thought the build-up has made the Usos look weak. Look, I really liked Naomi coming down the first time. I thought it was okay. It was just fine. But the second time, the lights go off, and Naomi is shaking on the stage, and it made the Usos look weak to get a win like that. However, Naomi shaking on the stage, catching the Bludgeon Brothers' attention. I'm not saying that it doesn't make sense, because hey, it's Naomi, but it made the Usos kind of look weak at the end of the day. But as for the winners of this match, well, look, since Naomi can't go to Saudi Arabia and get on the stage, then look, the Usos are screwed. So therefore, the Bludgeon Brothers will win the match. I expect an awesome match here, all jokes aside. And it's just too early to take the belts off the Bludgeon Brothers. This is like, it feels like a predictable pay-per-view, but who knows? WWE might do some things just to swerve us just for the sake of it. So I'm gonna still go with the Bludgeon Brothers to win this match and retain the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. So moving on, we have the United States Championship on the line. New United States Champion Jeff Hardy versus Jinder Mahal. Jinder Mahal debuted on Raw and he got his United States Championship, taken away by Jeff Hardy. And Jeff Hardy became a Grand Slam Championship. He went to SmackDown, got moved in the Superstar Shakeup to SmackDown, and here we are with this match here. Jinder Mahal is invoking his rematch clause, and I can't say that I'm particularly excited about this match. I mean, it's Jeff Hardy, Jinder Mahal. Jinder Mahal. I mean, the first match they had was alright, I guess, but the real exciting part of the match was Jeff Hardy winning the title. So I don't expect a whole lot here. Jeff Hardy is on SmackDown with the United States Championship. The Intercontinental Championship is on Raw, so I expect Jeff Hardy to win here and keep the United States title on SmackDown. And I expect a decent match. It's going to be on the main card. It's going to be a decent match. Jeff Hardy wins. Moving on, we have The Undertaker versus Rusev in a casket match. This has been quite the crazy build. Pretty much the craziest build out of all of the matches. And I mean, when I say build, I don't even mean on TV. I mean, what's going on behind the scenes off the TV. Because Rusev was originally slated for this match, and there was a lot of complaints that, here we go again. Rusev about to take another loss. To which I totally understood. And all of a sudden, Rusev goes on TMZ, talks about how he's going to beat The Undertaker down. Lana talks trash, and then all of a sudden, he's taking off the match. And then Chris Jericho is put on. And that caused a stir within the community. And next thing you know, Chris Jericho is taking off the match, and Rusev is back on. And at this point, I really don't care. Let's just get this match on. Let's see The Undertaker. I'm happy I'm going to get to see The Undertaker. I'm never mad at that, but let's get Rusev out of here. Would be pretty funny if Rusev actually won, but it's not going to happen. Undertaker is going to be your winner here. He is going to win the match. And I actually expect a good match. I don't expect a long match. I really think that Undertaker could have went longer than they had him win. That they had him win against John Cena at WrestleMania. So I expected this match to be a little longer than that, and I expect a good match for the time period that we have it. Undertaker will be your winner. So next up we have John Cena versus Triple H, and boy, you want to talk about a random match. This is as random as it gets here. And it's John Cena versus Triple H. There's not a whole lot I can go off of here. So excuse me if I don't go too long. But Triple H is past it. Pretty much past his prime. Actually really past his prime. The last good match he had was against Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 30. Now you can throw Dean Ambrose in there too at Roadblock. That one was really good as well. But I'm not expecting a whole lot here. John Cena can still go, so John Cena can carry him probably to a good match. As for your winner, and you know I have my theory, when in doubt, go with the face. So I'm going to go with John Cena here to pull out the victory, give the fans something nice and exciting, and I expect him to pull out the victory here. So moving on, we have the Intercontinental Championship ladder match. This could be your match of the night. We have Seth Rollins versus The Miz versus Finn Balor versus Samoa Joe. Look, this is gonna rock the house. I hope they give him like 20 minutes to just go. The Seth Rollins versus The Miz versus Finn Balor was a fantastic match at WrestleMania, the three-way. So I know you add Joe in there, it's really gonna get good and violent. And we throw a ladder in there to boot. So I expect a whole lot from this match. I expect it to be fantastic. And in the end, Here we go with the Superstar Shake-Up again. The Miz and Joe is on SmackDown. And I really thought Finn Balor should have won the title at WrestleMania. But since Seth Rollins has the title now, I don't really see a point in taking the title off of him. This whole card is really like you arrive at these points to where it's very predictable. And this is another case of that. But I do expect a fantastic matchup. So I'm gonna go with Seth Rollins to retain the Intercontinental title here at the WWE Greatest Royal Rumble. So moving on, we have the WWE Championship match. AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Low blow Nakamura. Hashtag knock his nuts. So we had the heel turn at WrestleMania with Shinsuke Nakamura. And it's been quite the interesting turn, to say the least. I questioned it at first, but I've got to say, throughout time, they've really built this thing up, and they've done a good job with Shinsuke Nakamura. The low blows are really funny, and the Speak No English with Renee Young, that's really funny as well. He's doing a good job with this. They've turned over the music. I talked about that on a recent YouTube video, so check that out if you want. So I expect, look, their WrestleMania match, people talk about how it was disappointing. Well, WWE, here's my take on that. WWE suppressed the match at WrestleMania, so it was disappointing. It didn't live up. It was a good match, but it didn't quite live up to what we thought. But that's because I thought WWE suppressed the match. They just did not let them go all out. If they let them go all out, it will be a match of the year candidate. And we'll see how it goes. We'll see the placement this time. So we'll see how it all goes. Because look, we know Shinsuke Nakamura can go. We know AJ Styles can go. They just need the time to go. But in the end, I expect AJ Styles. Well, you know what? This one has me questioning my pick, actually. Because if AJ Styles wins here, there's no point in the heel Nakamura run. I mean, there's no point in continuing this feud. So I'm going to switch my pick on the spot. Shinsuke Nakamura will win here, and he will become your new WWE champion. And this feud with AJ Styles will go on. I don't know how long they'll stretch it out, but it will eventually go on and lead to a third match that will settle the feud. So, moving on, we have the greatest Royal Rumble of all time. And this is a random one, to say the least, because we have all these names here. I'm not going to go through all 50 names, and I'm sure that you don't want to hear me go through all 50 names. We have some nice names in there. Daniel Bryan, Chris Jericho, Rey Mysterio. Some really fun names. So it's going to be a fun match. My whole gripe with the thing is that the winner doesn't get anything but a trophy. Like, really? Like, how about throw something in there, like throw $100,000 in there? Do something, make it to where they get a chance at some kind of title, some kind of something to get me really invested into the match. But at the end of the day, I expect a really good match. Really, really good match that's going to lead down to the end, and it's going to be fun. So, as for my winner, look, Braun Strowman is in the match. So, with Braun Strowman in the match, with the momentum that he has going, there's no reason not to put I was about to say to put the title on the guy, but to give the guy the trophy. But yeah, so at the end of the day, it could be a situation to where it comes down to Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley. I think that would be fantastic. Or Braun and whomever. But at the end of the day, Braun Strowman will be your winner at the greatest Royal Rumble of all time. So moving on, we have after the embarrassment that was WrestleMania, we have Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. And boy, this is interesting to say the least. Now look, after that embarrassment of WrestleMania, I don't mean to say I told you so, but I told you so. WWE, I don't know where they're going. What is wrong with creative? Hashtag blame creative. What are they doing with Roman Reigns? He looks like the most uninspired character that I've ever seen getting a world title shot. Ever. And like I say, that's on creative. Most of it is on creative, but some of that is on Roman Reigns. Like, show some kind of enthusiasm as the face. Like, the first bit of enthusiasm that I seen him show was at the Go Home show when he just basically said they had a few lines. I'm coming for that belt is mine, and I'm out of here. And that was it. That was as much enthusiasm as I seen him show the entire build to this Greatest Royal Rumble. So looking at, and there's been no explanation as to why he's getting a rematch. And you can say that about Nakamura as well, but at least there's a backstory with Nakamura. He got a heel turn. AJ Styles ruined the moment, and I can see why AJ Styles would want him back to get his revenge. I don't see why Brock Lesnar would want to face Roman Reigns again. Roman Reigns didn't get the job done at WrestleMania 31. He got beat at WrestleMania 34 to a bloody pulp. What's left for Brock there to prove from a kayfabe standpoint? So, looking at this match, I talked about the story that I saw from Cage Side Seats, where they said that WWE is waffling on Roman Reigns as to who will be the winner of this match, whether it be Roman Reigns or Brock Lesnar. And boy, that is so funny. Not from a reporting standpoint, because Cage Side Seats is cool, but from a WWE standpoint, look, if you don't put the title on him now, Roman Reigns will lose the little shred of credibility that he has left. The little shred that he has left, it's all out the window. I mean, just at that point, and I mean, even if you do put the title on him, you might as well just turn the dude heel at that point. If you don't put the title on him now. I mean, like, you put me through 4 years of this. Just put me out of my misery. It's gonna come back to Roman Reigns at some point. It might as well be now, to where we can actually get a full-time feud going with the Universal title. So I'm telling you, Brock Lesnar walks out of that cage with the title, so help me goodness. And then so help me goodness if they have Roman Reigns win this match via escape the cage. Out of all of that, if they have Roman Reigns escape the cage, I'm gonna blow up. I'm gonna talk about something once this is over, post the event. If he escapes the cage, I'm going to talk about that. So in the end, as for my winner, I'm gonna go with the safe pick again. The safe pick didn't work at WrestleMania, but I don't see how they have Roman Reigns lose this match. I cannot comprehend what they would be thinking if Roman Reigns were not to win this match. So I'm going to go with Roman Reigns as your winner to win this match and to regain the Universal title in Saudi Arabia at the Greatest Royal Rumble. And on a side note, I expect Roman Reigns to get a warm reception, but what if the people in Saudi Arabia boo him or give him a mixed reaction? Did WWE ever think about that? Like, that's in the back of my head. What if that ever happened? That would be ridiculous. I would definitely come on and talk about that if that happened. But I expect him to get a warm reaction. Although WWE could have planned this out better, because Raw is going to be in Canada after this. And look, Canada about to give Roman Reigns the business. That's just, it is what it is. They're going to give Roman Reigns the business come Monday. I can't wait to see that, what Canada does. But overall, I'll be watching this Greatest Royal Rumble event. I will be live tweeting it as well. So feel free to follow me on both of my accounts at 2SweetPod and at OMG Corey B. And I hope you enjoyed this breakdown. Tell me down below what do you think about the Greatest Royal Rumble? Do you have your picks? What are your picks down below? Tell me in YouTube, in Castbox, on Twitter, whatever you got. Let me know, and I will definitely respond.